Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Brooks from Facing Brooks, and we are back for another Empower Hour brought to you by the Empower Plant by Facing Brooks. So we are live now on Facebook Live. You can always go back and see these episodes again if you go to the Empower Plant or if you go to the YouTube Facing Brooks channel, and you'll see Empower Plant and Empower Hour as a playlist there. So welcome. I'm joined today by some fantastic people. We've got a guest you are not going to believe. We were able to snag the Marsha Doll. She's the original woman when I think of about Tallahassee, when I think about empowering other women. So I want to thank you, Marsha, for joining us today.
My pleasure, Dana. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. You look wonderful. We've got Rose Caswick back. We're going to circle back around and find out what our treat is. We've got Lori Finn, our marketing director. She's back. We've got Keisha, sassy Keisha, contributing Keisha. She's been keeping this really exciting the last couple of weeks. So I really appreciate your input. Thank you and welcome back. And then we have our producer, Whitney Morris. She is back and she is keeping us all coordinated and looking good and sounding good. So welcome everybody. We're going to talk today about owning a room, poise, walking with a straight back. You know, I hear so many women all the time saying, I want to own my space. I want to matter. I want to be here. And so it's an issue a lot of people struggle with. So we've got somebody here who can show you how to do it. But first, Rose.
Yes.
This is pretty.
Yeah.
What is it?
This is a champagne cocktail with cherry bitters, which was a time and a half to find, a sugar cube, and a cherry for a garnish. We were having Marsha Doll on this week, and I thought we should do something fashiony. And I've got a recipe in my book for a Coco Chanel inspired cocktail, and that this is it. And I thought we like Marsha better than Coco, so we're gonna
we love them both, but one of them we've got, we can hug in real life soon enough. So we are so appreciative. Thank you, Rose. I love it because it kind of the bitter part really works with the champagne. It can get to you know, sparkly and too sweet and just overpowering. Champagne can overpower you. So I love it. And it's attractive. It's pretty.
Yeah, it was fun. There was lots of physics going
Thank
on.
you, Prosecco champagne drinker and love bitters. So gotta tell you, you did a great job.
I nailed it. Heck yes.
I realized we were going to be drinking today, unfortunately. I missed that notice.
Oh man,
we got to get better. We got to get better at our pregame, Whitney.
We do, definitely.
But listen, I am so glad to have Marsha Doll here. Marsha Doll has become a friend of mine, and I very much enjoy her presence in my life. My life's been potentiated by knowing her, and so many people can say that. She's got some wonderful friends. She's an influencer. She was a woman you need to know before anybody knew, you know, about that. She's the original. But I want to share with you how I first learned about her. This was many years ago before I was a lawyer or anything. And I was at a downtown get down, remember, you know, in front of Andrews. And I saw this woman walk in with this very handsome man. They looked like they walked off a magazine cover. And she had on, I think, just fur, and she had her hair and her makeup, and she just walked around, but she wasn't stuck up aloof. Although she looked like she would be, everybody knew her and she was smiling. She was talking to everybody. And I just watched her. And I thought, man, I want to be her. I want to walk into a room and everybody like me and not resent me because of what I look like or what I think they think I have or snooty. I mean, she just found a way of looking fantastic, but also being welcoming and accessible. And I thought that's the trick. That's the secret sauce. And I thought one day I'm going to meet her and she's going to be my friend. And guess what happened?
I did not know this story. You're right, Dan.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah, welcome. Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you want people to know about you, because I brought you here because I want you to empower other women the way you empowered me without even knowing about it.
Wow, Dana, you know, where do I begin? For some reason, I guess maybe this year because of the virus, we've had so much time on our hands to think and reflect and analyze and dissect our past lives and what we're going to do in the future when it all opens back up. And I realized that there are so many stories that I have forgotten to tell. I thought I was over like most of my stories, but just like my daddy always had the cutest stories and he always had a story. But I look back at my life. I mean, it sounds really weird, but this is the time, I guess, that we're doing this. But looking back at my life, all the obstacles and the roadblocks and the success, and then backwards and forwards, the things that I've been through, there's just so much that I've learned. And that's what I teach so much about, is the journey. And it can't always be a great world. We don't have perfect lives.
Yeah.
And every story and every piece of my journey I can share. I love doing it because I know when I talk to people and they open up and they tell me little tidbits of their life or an experience, you seem to walk away with something.
Yeah,
You know,
you
somebody talk to you for 5 hours,
Yeah.
but you might just get one thing they said, one sentence that sticks in your head for a long time, and it kind of influences you.
Yeah.
And if I can do that for other people, I am from a small town. I'm as real as they get. I'm a Southern girl with a New York attitude. I worked in New York City since the 70s. I was there. I was around some of the biggest in the modeling industry, from Eileen Ford to the Kennedys I was there with a lady that had all these great connections. And you start to move around like that, you kind of get confident because you come back and it's like, wow, I've kind of been around the block, but not in a snobby way, like you said.
Yeah.
Anything that I can share from anything that I have done, good and bad, I love sharing because I love people. And it's been pretty tough last year.
You're infectious. The worst thing we could have ever done to Marsha Doll was quarantine her.
That's the truth.
The world suffered from that. I want to talk to our panel real quick. Whitney, I know you know Marsha. Rose, you know her. Keisha, Lori. She hasn't told you everything that she does. She owns a modeling agency, of course, and she gives these seminars and just does all kinds of things to boost the confidence in a number of people, just so much more than modeling. But Lori, let's start with you. What things would you want to know from someone, an expert in poise, confidence, projection, public speaking? What would you like to know from someone like Marsha?
Okay, well, great to meet you, Marsha. I've been in
well.
Tennessee 40
Lori's our
years.
marketing
I feel
director.
like I've known
very
you
congruent.
the whole time, although I know you got started maybe in the 2000s, I think, with your modeling agency.
Yes, for my
still like
name. I had an agency that was a franchise in
okay.
1985.
There you go. So yeah, I feel like I've just heard about you the whole time. So it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet
I would love to, so something that I would find useful is kind of like a mantra of, before I walk into a building, before I walk into a meeting or something, what's something that I can just say to myself to put me into kind of that confident mode and calm confidence.
What a great question.
Confidence can be taught, and it's practice. It's practicing your body language, your facial expression, the way you look and interact with your nonverbal communication. It's huge. I know me personally, when I want to get fired up, through all of the years I've been in business, when business was slow or something I just wasn't motivated. I needed something. You know what I would do? I literally would call a handful of people that I admire, that are super successful, that have taught me things, my mentors. I would call somebody with good energy and just get the vibe going before I went and did something big, because it would put me in the mindset of success. And I've got this. Body language is huge.
Yeah.
I know that before I do anything, I mean, this is really casual and this is fun, but if I'm doing something really, really big, like I said, I try to talk to somebody that motivates me and gets me in that Marsha Doll mode, that excitement. And then I do a little shakeout. This is what we do backstage. We do a little shaking out, just kind of get your body going. But confidence is huge. It starts with nonverbal. So, Dana, you talked about the first time you saw me walk in someplace downtown with a fur coat on, and the way I love people, but connecting, and you can judge somebody from the moment, I'm talking 5 seconds, you walk through those doors, your posture.
Oh, posture.
Posture. if I'm sitting at a table in a restaurant and I see somebody, I think, oh wow, that's Ralph Lauren's vice president. But you wouldn't know it if they're sitting there eating like this and they're all humped over. Or
Right.
somebody walks in the room and they're fidgeting with their clothes, or they're fidgeting with their
Yeah.
hair, or stuff. And if I can be still, anybody can be still. Exactly. So I do this by training to be in front of a camera to teach my models and actors how to do an audition. You have to be still. You have to be still. You have to have good posture. So it's practice. You practice.
You know, it's funny. I have some friends that I've got like a little crew, and they'll build me up. But one of them, they came up with this little thing. They call me DFB. You know, anytime I'm feeling down, they go, "You're DFB." They go, "What's DFB?" They go, "Dana freaking Brooks." And then I remember, I am Dana Brooks.
You know, Dana.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said about what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's everybody gets in slumps.
Yeah.
You can't be all the time.
No, it's a job. You know, once you take on a persona, it's almost like a job. You know, you're like, am I getting paid enough to be this person? But yeah, sometimes you just need to get with your crew or your inner voice or whatever it is that says, whoa, 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 whoa. This is off brand. Whatever you're struggling with, whatever anxiety, whatever self-doubt, this is off brand. This is not you. You're Dana freaking Brooks, you know? So I like it. I like it. And I like a lot of things about you that I want to get back to later, but I want to hear from our panel. But I love how you, as a entrepreneur, as a woman-owned business, as a woman-created brand, honestly, because you're a brand and a business. I like how you are a hustler and you pivot. You know, if things aren't going, if this model doesn't work, or if what you're counting on to fund your company or a contract, if that doesn't work out, you pivot, you reinvent yourself, or you create, or you go look and see where the need is and create something else. So that's going to be my question to you whenever we come back. But Whitney Morris, what are your thoughts about our fantastic guest today, and what would you like her to share with us?
Well, I love Marsha.
Marsha.
Yeah, obviously she is one of a kind and amazing in this community and approachable. You know, you wouldn't think she would be, but she is. And that's what I love so much about her. Anytime I've seen her at an event, like I feel included, or, you know, it makes the experience better, which I love. And I think I myself have had an interesting journey with confidence. I had a mother who told me all the time that I was special. And that it kind of gets in your head, but but she humbled me as well. She's like, you're not, you know, but listen, let's not be too crazy. Don't get cocky. So, you know, I feel like I was, when I had a great role model, that's kind of how I think people build confidence. And then I kind of grew up and I would see friends and I'm like, oh, they're just kind of not as confident. And I'm like, how can I, you know, maybe help with that? And that's something I want to discuss with you. Like if you see somebody that, I mean, obviously that's a very sensitive topic to broach, but you know, I feel like they kind of have to find that on their own, you know, maybe.
Well,
if
maybe
you have
you
any
don't,
advice, that'd be great.
maybe you don't go to them like, you look like you lack confidence, obviously. but you know, there's so many things, subtle little confidence builders, or maybe, I don't know, you teach this, Marsha. So what do you tell young women in Whitney's age group where they're just like, I see some friends struggling and I want to build them up?
Confidence, like I said, can be taught. Think about it. If you don't know what you're doing, you're unsure of what you're doing, you're in a setting that you're unsure about, you're not going to feel so confident, are you? And it's going to show on your facial expression and your body language. It takes practice. You put yourself out, get out of your comfort zone, just bring in the fear, do things that make you fearful, because that's when the adrenaline gets going, and that's when you grow, is when you get out of your comfort zone and you just put yourself in all kinds of different situations. It's just like in my industry, you have to practice things. You don't just wake up one day. I didn't wake up and this was Marsha Doll. This evolved through so many experiences in my life. I was not this outgoing and like this. I can remember in college, I had a degree in communications. I had to do speeches and I would shake so bad. My knees would.
Me too.
I was sick. And I just, it was the worst nightmare. People say they'd rather plan their funeral than give a speech.
Yeah.
And I was like that. But you overcome it from experience.
Yeah, you
and
do.
Myself out there, and I made myself do it. Whatever it was, just do it.
Yeah. I'm shocked at the things that used to literally physically terrorize me. I'm not kidding. I would literally lose control over my legs. They would shake involuntarily. Right. And I'm like, if I feel this and I know the fabric in my clothes is moving from it, I imagine you can see it. I was like, this is truly horrifying. And then now I do this stuff. Oh my God, there's nothing I would do. I would give me a microphone. Because I've done it so many times and I've dealt with it so many times. It's like graded exposure. It's just like whenever you're counseling somebody who's got some kind of phobia, it's just graded exposure. The more they get used to it, the less it scares them. So that's why I like your advice about just do it and try it. Because if you're a woman, you're probably so afraid of failure and you're probably not afraid to ask for help. You're probably going to succeed. You know, you're probably going to realize, oh my God.
Well, you know,
I can do anything.
With that, you know, it's also being true to yourself, being authentic to who you are, instead of trying to be something that sounds good and looks good, but it's really not in you. Yeah. There are so many things that I started, different little side businesses, from my lotions to my self tanners to candles to all the Marsha Doll brand, and they did well. Was my heart in it? Am I happy boxing up stuff and shipping it off? No, I'm happy being in front of a camera or in front of my group coaching. Yeah. So, you know, you'll be successful if you're true to yourself. If you find things that get you excited, and you surround yourself with people that are like-minded like you. That's one of the best pieces of advice that I can give anyone. When you're in a room, when let's say I'm in New York, if I'm the least important person in the room, I mean, we got major players here. We've got, you know, photographers and designers and agents. If I'm the smallest person in the room, as far as, you know, whatever, it's being in New York and being very like Eileen Ford, I get so motivated. I'm so driven. But when you're the most important person in the room, you don't really learn a lot. All you can do is teach. Yeah. So you surround yourself with people that make you think, that make you get your juices going. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you try a case, most trial lawyers will tell you this. You don't learn very much from the cases you win. All that does is validate that everything you already know and are doing is perfect.
That's so true.
Your learning comes from the cases you lose, because you have to literally reevaluate it, realize that the way you saw it is not the way the other people saw it, and then look for what happened. So, you know, don't look at those losses or setbacks as anything other than growth and learning opportunities, because that's what they are. Keisha.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
I have watched and admired Miss Marsha for a while. What brought her to my attention was I have a daughter that was diagnosed with brain cancer when she was 12. And because of that, she lost her hair and it never grew back. So she deals with self-esteem issues even now, and she's 21 now. And I guess what kind of advice I can give to someone, I know you say you own it and you being authentic, but someone where there's something, especially for women, hair is a big part of who we are. And how do I get her to understand that she is still beautiful, even though she doesn't have hair, and to help build that confidence, especially with, I mean, everything that she's dealing with, you know, today.
Wow, our hair is our crown. Marsha, I bet you have something to say about that.
I do. I'm really sorry of what happened to your daughter. She's doing well now?
Yes, she's in remission, so she's doing well.
Okay, is her hair loss permanent?
Yes, it is permanent.
It is permanent. Rocket! Oh my gosh! Do you know a girl named Micaiah Warren here in town?
Yes.
You know her?
I've never met her, but I've heard of her. I've seen her on Facebook.
Okay, she has, I believe it's alopecia. I personally have alopecia. I went through breast cancer 2007, and I got over it. Then I got it again in 2008. I went through chemo. I was bald. Okay. For me personally, I wore a wig in front of my children, and because I didn't want people feeling sorry for me at that time. That was my choice.
Right.
Afterwards, I started getting little extensions. Why do you think I have this crazy hair? Okay. This was not planned. This happened because of cancer and something really bad. And I thought I was going to die. And when I started getting a little bit of hair, and it is one of the most important things about a woman is your hair. I was just judging an event 2 nights ago, and the girl that was judging next to me was a hairdresser. And she says, I focus on women that have alopecia, breast cancer, that go bald. Okay. She is just going to have to face it, be around positive people, do things that make her feel good, whether it's exercise or playing with makeup, fashion, experiment, just accept it and move on. It's very hard to accept everything that happened to me, from 2 mastectomies to being bald to thinking I'm not going to pay for my kids on Thanksgiving. It was tough, but I didn't have a choice. When you have choices, you just got to surround yourself with really good, loving people and make the best of it and stick out. Just stick out, own it.
That's what I loved about Marsha. When I saw you, you stuck out, but I'm just drawn to her. I'm drawn. She's like the spaceship. I'm like, this is where I belong. But no, and then I got to know Marsha, and I realized that's why she shocks her hair. She's like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And we're going to plug in what I don't have. And this is the look. And we are owning it. We are strutting it. We are walking it. And let me tell you something. You see that face go by. You could be in New York City, and when it was crowded. You could be anywhere, and that head goes past you. Now, Marsha's taller than she looks because she's so thin, but she's about 5'10", 5'9", 5'10". So you will notice her. But that's her hair. And she owns it. So she took something that was like, oh my God, I lost my hair. And she turned her hair into her calling card. Yes. So I would encourage your daughter to just experiment with it. Do you want it at all? You want to rock a just no look? Because that's happening, you know? Do you want to do a wig? Do you want to do a wrap? Do you just want to, hey, whatever. But once it's not about what you look like. Okay, because we could see Marsha with a different attitude looking exactly the same. It's not how you look, it's how you decide to look.
That's right.
It's how you decide to be.
But also remember, and tell your daughter, look at the models now. Not that that matters, but look at all the different looks that are coming out. There are quite a few bald models that are doing fabulous things. There are plus sizes now. There are all kinds, real people. Yeah. But most importantly, is feel love from your surroundings, but get out of your comfort zone. Go ahead, walk out there, walk into a group, join a group. I mean, it's kind of hard now, but get out there and explore it a little bit. Yeah, I've been there. I understand.
I love it.
Yes.
Rose, pipe in.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting what Marsha was saying about auditions and learning to be still and not fidget. I'm a very fidgety person. I have my pen in my hand and I'm gonna fidget with it and I'm gonna touch my face and I'm gonna mess with my hair. But I think weirdly this year of being on Zoom all the time has helped with that a lot, because you'll go crazy looking at yourself. You're like, I just have to, I'm here. I gotta be still. I gotta stop staring at myself, and it's fine. And of course, I, have known Marsha for several years, and her whole story is very inspiring. And we were talking about gaining confidence when you don't have that. I mean, I don't know if anybody has it naturally. I guess some people do, but and how you get started with that. Like, obviously, practice, but what, the first thing you can do to get started. I know for me, it helps to just have some kind of little ritual to I'm about to walk into a room and have to give a speech or talk to people that I don't know or don't like or are higher status than me. What can I do to gird my loins? And one of the things that I've done lately is put on lipstick. I'm not a big makeup person. I just never put any effort into learning how to do makeup. But if I just put on some lipstick, I'm good to go. Even if I'm going to wear a mask over it, I'm good to go. Do you have any tips or little pointers of things you can do to either get started and putting yourself out there or in maintenance of putting on that face?
Well, Rose, you know what? I've taught this to a lot of women, and especially women that work from home. Now, everybody works from home. Personally, and this is to each his own. Some people are happy, no makeup, going in public. Some people are happy, dolling up and staying at home. Me personally, it empowers me.
Yeah.
Like right now, I've got on heels on to talk to you guys. You don't see what I have on, but I'm not Marsha unless I have my heels on. Then I have
It's your armor. To me, my outward appearance sometimes is my armor.
Absolutely. And feeling good about yourself, whatever that is. And it is getting out of your comfort zone a lot. Okay, take this for example. You see women, all of us have done this. You dress up for the prom, go back to high school. You dress up for the prom. You dress up for charity events when you're younger. As you get older, you keep, you don't dress up as much and you go out. But when you do, don't you look in the mirror and you just go, man, you get your hair done and you go, gosh, I look good. Why don't you do that all the time?
Right.
It's like if I don't have my makeup on, I'm at the condo at the beach, or I'm here doing nothing, and I'm not gonna see anybody. I still put my makeup on and do my hair. It makes me feel more powerful. But that's, like I say, everybody doesn't need to get up in their house in their sweatpants and put on makeup.
Right.
But it's the little things, and you recognize them. You keep your, be aware of the things that you do that makes you happy.
Yeah.
That makes you feel good, and do more of it. Do more of it.
Yeah, I think that's right, because what you're really talking about is where's your head at? What's your mindset? Because I can go out with no makeup on sometimes and just rock it. I'm just going around. This is me, and I think it gives me credibility because people realize I'm a real person and I, have the same things you've got going on, and I feel confident. And then other times I feel like, oh Lord, I look like death warmed over. I need to, I don't need to be out. But it's because it's not really what you look like, it's what you're projecting, I think.
And it's what you feel like. If you feel, and that's another thing, back to I'm sorry, the lady that had the daughter.
Keisha.
Keisha. If you feel good about yourself, it does not matter what you're wearing, how your hair is, what your makeup, as long as you feel good about it. That's all truly. You will be true to yourself and you will own it. You will be more confident when you're true to yourself. Now, some people are not used to wearing dresses or heels. I tell everybody, everyone should take a modeling class. Every single person on this planet should take a modeling class. It teaches you posture. It teaches you confidence when you walk in the room, from facial expression to using your voice in many different tones. But you got to feel good about yourself, and it's up to you. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to come and say, oh, let me do this for you. And you're like, when I do events, I don't want anybody doing my hair or my makeup. Everybody's like, oh, we've got people coming in for you, Marsha Doll. I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. Go ahead. Because
I don't know how this
Don't touch me.
maybe you're going to make me look better, but for me, it's not better.
Yeah, you
not
have
you.
your own brand. Yeah.
It's not you. Yeah, we have that issue sometimes when we do commercials and stuff. And sure, makeup looks great, but if it doesn't look like you,
Oh my gosh,
it can
we've got
really
commercials.
affect you. It really affects you.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate looking at myself when I have the professional makeup for the shoots. Like, I
You
know
don't
I
feel
have to do it
confident. You don't
on
look at
camera,
yourself.
but I just don't feel like myself. I'm like, you look at me, I don't have to look at me.
To me, I look different every time.
Yeah.
You do,
I look so different. It's just like that. We've got some commercials up right now that I do not like the hair at all. I feel like I look just not like me. And then other times I'm like, oh, that's better. I want her.
You look like that.
But but it affects how I feel. Like you can tell in those commercials, I don't really feel like myself. But yeah, how you look, how you project yourself it's your image, it's your brand, it's what you put out there. Everybody else's perception of you is one thing, but how you see yourself informs how they perceive you. It's not really just a visual. It's the energy behind the visual. Let me hear more from Lori real quick. What are your thoughts as we go on?
Well, I want to sign up for the modeling class. Is 43 too old for that? Because
No.
that sounds really fun. And
This woman made me dress up and with no talent in
yeah.
a wedding dress,
the bride.
which is ironic. Okay, thank you for the humor. When I was in my 50s. No, it's never too old. It's never too old.
I
Wear,
try
to wear a wedding dress in your 50s or dress up for Marsha Doll as a model.
Right.
your posture, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself. Have you ever sat in a restaurant and somebody walked in the door? Well, like Dana said, they walk in and you're like, just the way they're carrying themselves. Doesn't matter what their hair or their makeup. It's just the way they walk in the door and sit down.
You can see it in children. You ever see little spunky kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a stepdaughter who was like that. She was a spunky little toddler. You're just like, get it, girl. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that goes in the phases. So, you know, I know with teens, and I work with a lot of young children into the preteens and the teen years. And some of the younger ones, they have lots of confidence. Then it's into the preteen and teen years, and then they go way backwards.
Yeah.
And it's mostly like posture.
You know, Rose, in the book, the infamous book, I talk about you in it, and I talk about how you judge the Tropicana speech contest.
Yeah.
You know, that always gets me. The way
Yeah, that's interesting because that's like 5th, 6th grade. So they're like 11, 12, and you can definitely see the confidence gap starting to.
When it starts, it's that damn middle school.
Yeah, between the like little boys who'll get up and talk about golf or who gives a crap what they're talking about, and then the girls, like they're just as you know, some of them are just as like able to project and talk and do their thing and well researched and that, but like even if they win, they're just like
They're sheepish, like you said. You know, they walk across the stage and they're caved over, and they give you these little handshakes that are just like a little touch, and you're just like, what are you doing? What is that even? You know?
Oh, I make men shake my hand. I make them shake my hand. Oh yeah.
Congratulations. 25.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Danes.
25, Dana.
What now?
Oh, you're one of the 25.
Oh yeah. Yay me.
That's awesome.
You're gonna have to tell me what to do, because that's apparently there's a lot of responsibility there. It's not just getting another award. You gotta tell me what the job is.
Well, it's a wonderful group of women. I was in the first group in 2007, but you were talking about kids and how they go like this, you know, their posture, and they're scared, and when they win awards, they go across the stage. It made me think of Club 25, and not just Club 25, but a lot of organizations. I go to these events where people get awards, and it's always amazed me. I thought, I'm going to start a business where I'm just going to go around to organizations for their employees to learn how to rock the stage when they get an award, when they do a presentation. But I've seen so many women that are way brighter than I am, okay? PhDs and this, and they win these awards, and they get out of their chair and they go up to the stage and they're like this. And they're like, and I'm like, oh my God, you need to wave like a politician. You need to it just blows my mind that people don't own it. Yeah. And they're nervous. They're not used to the limelight. They're not used to the stage.
And I don't know, and they're not used to it. And when they do get it, they almost act like they're apologetic for being there, like they're taking up space that belongs to someone else. I want women to stop doing that. I follow Gloria Allred. Everybody know who she is. She is a renowned women's rights attorney. She's in the news a lot. Anytime some high profile, case comes along, she's usually representing the victim, usually a woman. But I followed her at this seminar in New Orleans, and she was the keynote speaker. We were on Women's Day, and I was a speaker, and I had to follow her.
Oh no.
No pressure.
Seriously.
I wasn't up to that level yet, in my view. But anyway, I got to ride down in the elevator with her, and guess what she was? She was another damn Marsha Doll. She could not have been more friendly.
Really?
She was talking like she was just like she was trying to get some out of her teeth. I mean, just like normal, just like a normal total person. But she goes up on the stage, and so I'm watching this, and I'm just in awe. And so I thought about this. This woman is 70. She's in her 70s. I don't know if she's 73, 76. She's in her 70s. She's 5'1" or 2. And so she goes up and she comes onto stage, and she's wearing this red suit. Her power red suit is her signature suit. She wears a black blouse or turtleneck or something under it, statement necklace. She's got real thick, full, dark hair, makeup on point. But again, she's small, and her the fabric of the clothes, they just kind of, I couldn't tell you who the designer is, but the fabric was heavy enough that it smoothed things out, you know, and it accentuated everything in a 70-something-year-old woman. And the pants stopped just like a breath of the floor. They weren't too long to look sloppy, but they were just long enough to make her look as tall as she could, in a red pantsuit, black, and she just comes on, and then there's booming music. I've watched Bill Clinton speak several times, and he has that booming music, gets you all excited, the moves like Jagger and everything. She's got her music going on, boom, boom, boom. She's walking on. Now, this is a little old lady. She's somebody's grandmother. She's 5'2". If she's walking out there like she's damn J-Lo, you're expecting her to, you know, do a Super Bowl halftime and pump, pump, pump. And then there's this video montage of everything she's done. She sued Trump. She sued, you know, Harvey Weinstein. She sued Bill Cosby and all this. And all of a sudden then she goes on the stage and she's like, this is what's up. And you're like, Jesus, that was the best thing I've ever seen. And I'm going, can we get a break or something? Because I am not prepared to follow this lady. But my point is this, you would have never, what if she walked in there in flats and one of these Little House on the Prairie dresses they're selling at Target right now that everybody's all up in arms about. She's rolling in that, no makeup, all her grays grown in, she ain't got a manicure. She just walks up, shuffles on the stage with some prepared notes, no montage, no video, no beat. You know, no one would care what she had to say. And guess what? She could be 33 instead of 73. And the same is true. It's not your age, it's not your height, it's not your gender, it's your attitude.
And you're judged. Whether you like it or not, when you walk in a room, like you say, this lady walks across the stage, she's got all this going on, she's dressed to the nine, she's confident. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
You're your biggest enemy, judging everything, picking yourself apart. Oh, whatever it is you have, whether you're big or you're small or your hair's frizzy or you have no hair, it doesn't matter. It's what's up here. It's what's in your heart.
Yeah. You talk about an older woman rocking it like that. You talk about somebody with some hair loss and some literal, you know, lifetime, I got to live with this after chemo effects. You're talking about somebody, you know, it could be anything. It could be somebody who's transitioning. It could be people with disabilities. I mean, my God, how many times do we discount people in the world because of a disability? We just go, be polite to them. Don't hear from them. They don't have anything to contribute. They're disabled. That is so awful because we just don't think about other people who aren't like us. I do want to mention some things and give some shout outs to some people who are watching us live. Gerald and Judy Mandrell, they love them some Marsha Doll.
Who is it?
This is Gerald Judy Mandrell. Barbara Westcott from Women Wednesdays. We love her. She said, Marsha Doll is beautiful inside and out with a wealth of insights to share in such a fun way. You are always fun. That's why I like hanging out with you. Our law partner who would normally be here today, Marsha, Carrie Roan, she's still in a mediation, but mediation's got a lot of downtime. So she can be on Facebook watching us too.
Love
still be a good lawyer.
She is fabulous.
She said she's still in mediation, but she's multitasking. She goes, so I don't want to miss the incredibly amazing Marsha Doll. She has inspired me in so many ways to be more confident in who I am and to own it. Marsha is so beautiful inside and out and has the most lovely, positive personality. She absolutely shines. And Carrie reminds me a lot of you in some ways because Carrie Roan rocks it, owns it, puts out this big, larger than life persona. But then sometimes she'll tell you she, you know, still kind of feels the insecurity she felt when she was in high school and got teased for things that are now, you know, her best features. You know, she just grew a little taller faster than everybody else. And now, you know, she just rocks it all day long. So
I relate to a lot what you said about, you know, your DFB. I have to do that too sometimes.
Yeah.
I find myself in a situation where I'm like, what if this, what if that happens, what if this? It's like, are you serious?
I
Like,
got this.
look in the mirror, get real, stop it.
Yeah.
I have to have those conversations with myself sometimes.
Yeah.
We're all human. That's what everybody thinks. Like your perception of this woman, Dana, before you met her, going on this, I mean, your perception was, oh my God, I can't even imagine approaching this woman. And then you realize she's just like us, just like all the movie stars and the famous people I've been around New York and Paris and Milan. It's like they're just real people like us, live in passion, most of them.
Yeah.
And you have to stay grounded sometimes and realize we all have bad days. it's not, you know, I love Matthew McConaughey. I always bring him up every time I talk, maybe because I love him so much. He's so, all right, all right, all right,
All right, all right, all right.
But you know, he's like, who's your hero? And it's like he's always chasing his hero. He'll never get to his hero. But we all need a reason to get up in the morning and have some kind of purpose. And there are days where you're human. You feel horrible. You have a bad attitude. You just give yourself a break, let yourself off the hook, know the next day is going to get a little bit better, and just try to be positive. And it's hard. It's hard. It's a job. So I get it, guys. I get that. It's like everybody expects you to be people empower me. If everything's horrible, if I'm around people, everything's great. I'm just distracted, and I love that. I love interacting with people. So yeah, we can say Corona stuff.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Keisha, you got anything else? You got any other thoughts right now?
No, when we were talking about owning it and owning the room, it brought me back to when I interviewed with you to work for the firm. And I remember I was supposed to meet you at the office when we were on Capitol Circle. And we met at the Starbucks down the road. And you came in and I'm from Thomasville. So, I mean, I heard of Dana Brooks, but I really didn't know no offense, I didn't know who you were at that time. But when you walked, you had on workout clothes. And when you walked in the room though, I said, that has to be her. I mean, it was just the way that you entered the room. It was like your presence, like, I'm here, I'm Dana. And so it makes a big difference. And I myself too, sometimes have problems with confidence, self-esteem, or I seem to kind of shy away in certain situations. So that owning the room is very important. And that's something I myself do need to work on as far as being confident about who I am, regardless of the situation or wherever environment I'm in.
Yeah, and when I say own the room, I probably need to explain it. That doesn't mean you're the center of attention and that all eyes are on you and you're sucking the air out of the room and nobody else gets a word in. That's why I think when I say it, I mean you walk in there with the confidence that whatever they got, whatever's coming at me, I got it. If I got to talk to this person, if I got to make conversation, if I got to give a toast, I got this. You just kind of get your head right to you're where I belong here. I will be accepted here. I will be successful here. This is going to go great. I'm going to meet a contact. I'm going to get something great out of this. And I think it's a head game. When I mean own the room, I mean instead of the room owning you.
Yeah. That's,
when you walk into a room, if you say at an event where there's other people, find someone to walk over to. If you just kind of shy away, you're just going to sink further.
You're going to feel worse. You're going to call attention to it and it's going to feel worse.
Just dig in and walk over to somebody and introduce yourself. This is something, we're not doing it now, but back in the days when we shook hands and we saw people,
right?
How big this is in teaching anyone to walk in the room, look at someone and say, hi, I'm Marsha Doll, and that handshake, and there's that connection. It opens up everything. You're taking control. You're walking over and saying, I'm Marsha. What is your name?
Right.
It's standing in a corner. It still kills me. I was at an event the other night, and there's people still, I don't go out that much, but when I am still today, people they don't introduce each other. People just walk in a room and they just stand around. It's like, hi, I'm Marsha. What's your name? Where are you from?
Yeah.
With a smile, not like a deer in headlights, a smile, a genuine smile, because I'm curious. I want to know who you are.
Yeah.
Where are you from? What you doing? So get out there and engage with people when we can.
We're going to need a whole manners reboot when we re-enter society. We're all so awkward again. Your business is going to be booming, lady.
Yeah.
You're going to need to do. When I was growing up, they had a thing at Gapers, the best store that ever happened in the world. I was in Pensacola, but it's the same Gapers y'all had over here in Tallahassee, but they had something called White Gloves and Party Manners. And it was basically, now that I reflect on it, it was basically a course to make sure you could find a man to marry you.
And your mother sent you that.
Yeah, your mama sent it to you because she was busy and she didn't want you to embarrass the family when you went out to eat at somebody else's house. But no, it was a lot of things like, how to greet somebody, how many people do you still see, how many opportunities do you still have where a man will get up when a woman leaves or enters the room or gets up and down to the table?
That would be my husband all day long.
That's very rare anymore.
And my
Yeah, that's very rare anymore. And it is very gendered into the deference to the weaker sex and that sort of thing. But I'm so conflicted in this. And I tell people all the time, I said, I've got this feminist part of me and then I've got this Southern part of me. And sometimes they just.
Me too. I get
not
that.
congruent.
Don't wear hats inside. Everyone's doing that. It drives me insane.
Especially backwards. Who raised you? How many times a day do I go, who raised you? Get your mother on the phone. Get your mother on the phone.
It's changed. People are not teaching the good manners. It's going away. People are communicating by text. People don't even want to talk on the phone anymore.
I am such a jerk about that. Do you know that I will send somebody a text that I have not had any communication with in months, maybe years, and I'll just go, where did you get that shirt? It won't be like, hey, what's going on? Good. I hadn't heard from you. I hope everything's going well. How's your mama? Where'd you get the shirt? It's just, hey, I need that shirt. Tell me where it is. Buy. It's not even a buy. Just like, I'm like, who are you? But you're just trying to get in, get out, not take up their time. Everything's a little bit weirder. But before we go, because we probably got about 10 more minutes. Marsha, you are something that I praise and try to promote, and that is a entrepreneur, a woman-owned business, a self-created woman. I would try to promote that because I realized, I just had this epiphany one day. I don't want to employ a bunch of women. I want to empower a bunch of women, and I want them to have their own companies. I want them to have the freedom that comes with being an owner rather than an employee. I want them to be job creators. I want them to pull up people that they know and get them out of their situation and elevate them. So you do that. But boy, in your industry especially, and COVID-y, ooh, you got a COVID-y business. You need to be around people and touch them. So how do you pivot whether it's 2008 economic downturn, nobody's got any money for fluff, whether it's we can't be around each other? How do you pivot and keep feeding yourself whenever your industry gets challenged so much?
Well, thank God I plan for these kind of days in my savings and my job and my life. I have been through so many different parts of different decades of my career, which has been quite a few now. I'm working on, I think, about 40. I've been in this industry, or actually longer. Ouch. But you do learn to pivot.
It doesn't show.
It makes you open your eyes. It makes you do things that you normally don't have time to do, like research. I'll tell everybody, you've got the world at your fingertips. Back in my day, we had encyclopedias, and half the people don't even know what an encyclopedia is.
At your grandmother's house, you had to get in the car.
You just have to learn to get out there and get motivated somehow. You got to find it. There's so many YouTube videos, and the power of the internet and Google to read and find things that make your heart start beating like, ooh, that might be fun. And you have to take chances. We realize this isn't going to be forever, but I do think it's going to change our world forever to some degree. Yeah. So, you have to go with the changes. I look at my company and how I was presented some opportunities, and they were small opportunities, but because I was able to, I wanted it so bad that I saw my company growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger if I did this, and this, which was hard work. And that's what I try to teach the kids today. You have to work hard. You can't sit around and think you throw some things out there on TikTok or whatever and become famous, and there you go. Yeah. You've got to earn it. You've got to work hard unless you get really lucky, which hats off to everybody that gets lucky. But I can remember starting a modeling competition, and I was putting flyers on cars and parking lots at Governor Square Mall, all up and down the coast, Jacksonville. And I had 2 people show up to a meeting that I spent money for a ballroom. I mean, it was a disaster. Right. But I was like, no, I tried to analyze it. What did I do wrong? Yeah. Couldn't figure it out. That's okay. I went back, tried something different, kept trying different things. Then I get a phone call of a client. It was a banking client from Charlotte, North Carolina, with credit cards, and they were doing promotions. And they said, we need like 75 to 100 kids at FSU at the football games to give out free hats and t-shirts.
That's right.
The credit card. And I'm like, oh my God, my brain's going, oh yeah. I got 75 people. I got because all those people were like high school and college kids, and they wanted to be a model, but there was no modeling jobs in Tallahassee, Florida. So they were out there, and I'm paying them $15 an hour. With this client, it's like, oh my God, I cannot believe all your people showed up. They had poise and classy and good manners. Then it went off, and I ended up doing like 50 stadiums. I had thousands of people working every week, all over the country, millions of dollars later. But that was 20 something years ago. But it grew and grew and grew from something that I said, they kept telling me I was so great at what I was doing. I'm like, that gave me confidence. I'm like, okay, I can do this in Gainesville, South Carolina, Miami. And it just grew all the way to University of Southern Cal. So you just run with it.
You find something and you keep going with it. But then I think what I hear you saying is, yeah, but you got to be looking for the black swans too. Like, this is only going to last so long, probably. Or what if, what if this happens? What if that happens? Like, I know you have your modeling agencies, and you've got so many people you've trained and placed in movies, commercials, TV shows, all over the place. I've watched so many of them on the programs you put them on. But you also do these boot camps where you'll take a bunch of people to New York, and you'll introduce them, and you'll give them a whole experience from it. But then you also do some things right here in Tallahassee, where if you have some children, or maybe you're just struggling with some confidence and how to present yourself. Like you said, most people would rather, what is it they say? They'd rather give the eulogy. No, they'd rather be the person in the casket than the person giving the eulogy. That's how afraid they are to speak publicly. And you do so many things. You just pivot, and you find a need, and then you find a way to monetize your assets and everything that you have to offer. I think you're a brilliant business person.
Oh, you're sweet, Dana. I love everything that I do.
Yeah.
Everything that I do. It's, if not, I don't put the passion into it. I'm not motivated. If you're not loving it, it's hard to wake up in the morning and get motivated. But when things feel right, and it gets scary. I mean, not for me anymore, but I've been scared so many times. I can't even tell you that I tried something and it failed. I've had so many different, go back to selling turtles in candy stores. And, I was an entrepreneur when I was 10 years old.
She was pushing salmonella at an early age.
I've invented 400 products. Let's just say that, and none of them really made it big, but that's okay. I still got to be Marsha Doll and do my fashion and teach it. Most importantly, people do, when you first started out this segment, Dana, today, you told your audience, guys, this is not going to be about modeling and being skinny and tall. This is about confidence. And you can be as pretty as the next girl. It doesn't matter. Being happy, being healthy, being confident with yourself, and exploring the world through people. If you can travel, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you travel so much. You did. You were always on the go, and I love that about it. Whitney, do you have any final thoughts today? I'll go around to our panel one more time, and then we'll let Marsha close with whatever she wants to share in her closing final thoughts today. But Whitney, what are you thinking as we conclude?
I really love confidence. Confidence is one of those words that speaks to me, and it's one thing I'm very proud of that I have, because like I said before, seeing so many people who aren't that confident, and how beneficial it is to me. Rarely do I go into a new situation and I'm scared. I know it's going to have some kind of, if it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's great, but you go in with the confidence. I was thinking about how I walk into a room and I just have my head up high. I don't know why, but it's just kind of ingrained into me to be, rule the room, or whatever we were saying.
Well, you've got a big personality, but you also, are reminded that you've accomplished a lot, and you have a lot to be, proud of. And then, like you said, Marsha, too, a lot of it is just the energy you're putting out. Are you about yourself? Are you about helping? Are you about promoting the group? It's just, you can tell somebody's energy and their aura. You know, are these people I want to gravitate to? Because some of it's how physically attracted you are. You're like, oh, beautiful. I want to gravitate to that person, but that person can turn ugly real fast. And you're like, I don't want to be anywhere near around that. So, you know, for the people who are lucky enough to have the physical attributes, that's going to take you so far, but it's probably going to make more problems for you than it's worth if you don't harness it the right way and your attitude isn't right. Just like someone very gifted can have the wrong attitude and project the wrong image, just as someone who maybe doesn't have those natural gifts, just because they put out the right energy, they're approachable, they're positive, they're always building people up, they're helpers, they can just, you know, everybody wants to be in their orbit. So it's a personal decision about how you want to live your life. And if you want to be a cynic and you want to look for everything bad in it and everything bad about people, and this person doesn't do this well enough, and blah, 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 or you could go through life going, you know, I'm going to look for the good in people and I'm going to trust that it's there. So I love that. It's a choice. It's an attitude. Rose, what about you? What are your final thoughts tonight as we close our hour with Marsha, who was so gracious to attend?
Yeah, I was just thinking about sort of perspective on confidence, because I do think it's an important to have, an important thing to project. And probably we don't have this problem so much with women, but overall, you can reach a point of like ego with confidence, and you definitely don't like, yeah, I don't want to say don't be confident, don't whatever, but because we need to build that up in women, especially more because they tend to have the imposter syndrome, or that I don't want people to think I'm egotistical, so I just don't say anything at all.
Yeah, I'll play my
knowing your moment and owning your moment, and like I actually have something to contribute on this, and jumping in there. Whereas, you know, you see like have the confidence of a mediocre white man where they'll say anything no matter whether it has value or not. So I'm just loving this conversation and figuring out how to project confidence and relatability at the same time, I think is awesome.
Yeah. Women struggle with that all the time. If I'm confident, then I'm, you know, a jerk or a bitch or whatever. Can't win. What do you think about that?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Dana, being in the industry that I've been in, so many of my people are some of them are so beautiful that it has crushed their self-esteem. People make fun of people or mean to them in high school, the girls. I can't tell you the stories. I mean, they're horrifying. And a girl that you see walk in the door and she's just gorgeous, but she's not owning it. It's sad. Somebody has beat her up. And it's not about just your appearance. We're talking about posture and facial expression. But I'll tell you another thing that I feel like I know it's helped me build my self-confidence, is when I found something that was kind of new to me, that was a new experience, I wanted to share it with other people to help them. And by being a teacher gives you self-confidence. You don't have to be an official teacher of something, but when you know that you can help somebody by sharing something with them, I think that alone helps you with your confidence. The more you're teaching and giving, the more confidence you're gaining with yourself because you are a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And giving back and being grateful. It's like we want. Was kind of like the journey. It's like, when do you get there? Okay, you get there. Okay, if I could just
Now
do
what?
this, I would be happy. Well, guess what? You got to be happy inside.
Yeah.
You happy with your surround. You have choices too. It's up to you. And I know that being grateful, and sometimes we all get like, oh, you know, I need this, or I want this more. I want my yacht in Miami. But when I win the lottery, I'm going to get my yacht in Miami. You all want fabulous things, but it's like, don't miss the beauty of the day.
Yeah.
And what you're moaning and groaning about that you already have is somebody's
dream.
Somebody's dream that they'll never see, and you live it every day. So it's putting things in perspective. And I know if you don't have anything nice to say, zip it up.
That's what I say. Let it go. It's like if you're on, like we have the Empower Plan, the Empower Hours on the Empower Plan. And I invite all kind of people. They're not all like-minded. The only thing I say is this is a positive place. This is not a place for people to say something and expect to be challenged. So if you can't support it, let it go. Scroll on, move, leave the group if you have to, but But if you see something you don't believe in, this is not your opportunity to poop all over it. And so that's one thing we try to do is protect this group and make sure it stays very positive. And your energy being here is exactly what we're talking about. Build people up. Love people, find something good to say. And if you don't have something good to say, let it go. But then also watch the self-talk and watch the external talk. Everybody else's opinions of you, you got to watch the weight you give to that. What does it do for you? Most of the time, it only hurts you. That's why I ask people to try to avoid finding out the bad things that are said about you, if there are. Avoid gossip. I can't see how it benefits you.
Right.
Finding out those things. I can see it only hurting you. So as long as you're living your true, authentic self, why do you care what they think? Because they don't know. They don't know the true, authentic self. You do.
It's their insecurities. It's their insecurities.
Yeah.
Or their jealousy or whatever, or they're not happy with themselves. So they sit around and that's what they do, whoever they are. I personally, I have a lot of friends. I only spend time with a handful of really good friends.
Right.
You don't want to be around people where you're having dinner or you're in a group and you walk away and you wonder what they're saying about you.
Yeah, that's not friends.
Because they do it. If they do it to somebody, they're going to do it to you too.
You better believe that.
Yep, it's so true. And I hate to say it, I love women. Oh my gosh, I love to empower anything I can share with you to make your life better. But don't be catty. Help us all. We're all in this together. But people
No mean
don't
girls.
like that. And I admire you, Dana, for doing what you're doing with this session here that you're doing. You do this every Tuesday, or I'm sorry, every
Thursday. Yeah, yeah.
I'm on beach time. Sorry, I just got back. But I think that's a wonderful thing where people can watch and share our pain and our glory and everything in between, because that's how we learn.
Yeah.
And you're always up here, you live a miserable, lonely life, and I don't know anything like that. So I try to surround myself with great people like Dana Brooks.
You are very sweet, but it's easy for you to be sweet to me. It's easy for me to be sweet to you, because you and I, since we've known each other and gotten to be closer, we were on the same mission. We're on this mission to stop this thing where women see each other as competition for the best male we can get, or the best or the most attention from the people in power who tend to be male. I love that your energy is spent on empowerment and positivity and not breaking people down. And I like also that you see that there's more than one way to reach that. It doesn't always look like this or look like her or sound like this. And empowerment is just someone who totally owns their space and is contributing and doesn't worry if they deserve to be there and deserve to be heard. But who does is, one more time, I think we've got Keisha, are you left, or Lori? I got to go to you before we close. Lori. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I'm going to keep pulling this Empower Hour up from time to time to remind myself some of these good things, and I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. She's an inspiration. Keisha, what are your takeaways, and what do you want to wind up with today?
I enjoyed it as well. The thing that rings out of my head the most was the being deliberate in my actions and my thoughts and the people that I surround myself in, and that in itself helps to build self-confidence. And so for me, I need to be more deliberate in my thoughts and just don't take it for granted. Sometimes I think we kind of give ourselves less credit and we downplay things, and that's just me. But I mean, what I've learned today was that it can be taught, and that's something that can be learned. And I just need to be deliberate in my actions so that I can to get to that place where I feel as though I own the room when I walk in, or so to say.
You'll get used to it.
You'll
get used to it. I promise. You practice it when we finally get to walk into it. You will get used to it. And I love the word deliberate.
I do too.
I think that says it all. Just be deliberate about what
be deliberate and be intentional. Don't be scattered, and be careful who you let in your head. Be careful, whether it's your self-talk or whether it's the external talk, but be careful who you let reside in there, because that's going to inform the image you project. And the only way to change somebody else's behavior, does everybody know this? The only way to change somebody else's behavior is by changing your own and making them respond to it. So you will be treated the way you intend to be treated, because you're putting out an energy that says, this is all I will accept. That's not acceptable to me. I insist on this. So just get your head around that. You have more control than you think you do in how other people treat you by simply being someone who accepts and demands a certain amount of treatment. So I want to thank you, Marsha Doll. I want to thank you, Keisha. I want to thank you, Lori, Rose. I want to thank you, Whitney. I want to thank everybody who tunes in every Thursday at 4:30 to watch our Empower Hour, brought to you by the Empower Plant by Facing Brooks. And if you miss this, it's always on. Go to the Empower Plant. You can go to the live up top and you'll see the old videos. And then it's also on YouTube. Share it, bring some other people into the fold, turn them on about the group, and let's all grow stronger together. So thanks. This was another great Empower Hour. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you, panel. We'll see you next
Love
time.
it. Love
Thank
it. Great
you.
with you guys today. It's been wonderful being with you girls. I'm so happy. I wish I could actually reach out, but thank you for the
Soon. Let's get our shots
Cheers.
crossed.